Hi all, welcome to the channel, welcome to the workshop. I've just received the next 5 stages of Build the DeLorean from Fan Home. Today I'm going to do issues 107 and 108 and we're going to be continuing on with the rear flux bands. So without further ado, let's get building. Right, so as I said, these are the parts we get. They are mirror images of each other, as you can see. We've got the left hand side here, we've got the right hand side here. And as I say, they are pretty much mirror images of each other, so we've got the same parts, so we're going to do them all together. We do also have the metal frets, and as you can see, they are labelled 107, 108. We've got 107, which is going to be the left hand side, 108 is the right hand side. And what I plan to do is just build them up around like this until we get to the bottom of the car. We did also get a pile of AP screws and IP screws, and that's pretty much all we're going to be using to secure the framework to the flux bands. One of the first things they say to do is also make sure that all your bands are in the right places, so they're in those little channels in the little mounts here. So they are in this case, and it's always worth double checking when you come to put the piece in place, because they can pop out just like that one did. Obviously I've got the EL wire mod, but it's the same thing if you have the standard light tubes and not the EL wire. If you're interested in the EL wire mod, then do check out the video that I did previously when I switched this over to the EL wire. And then you can see whether you want to do that or not. There are ways of doing EL wire. Even if you're at this stage, you could just use an external power supply and run your own EL wire to this. But for now, let's get on and build the bits we've got now. Right, so the first thing we're going to be needing is this piece. Now, they have conveniently labelled them, as you can see there. That one says L1, and this one L2. So we're going to need both of those pieces, and they will lay over each other like that. There is a little peg on this one, and we can just place those together like so, and that will go into the 2 holes on that block. And again, making sure that your light tubes or EL wire mod is fully seated in the right place. We're going to place that over the top, like so. Now, it might be a case of you have to work it around a little bit. But we need 107E for the left hand side. So just flexing that off the fret. And that's going to go in just there. We're going to start off with 2 AP screws just in here. Now you may remember I painted the front one silver, so I'll probably do the same with this one when it comes to finishing this up. Now I'm doing this in a slightly different order to what the instructions say. So what I'm going to now do is get 107F and place that one in there. And again, using 2 AP screws into the black mounting blocks. So now we've got that held in there like so. I'm going to use the IP screws now, just to screw the metal frame to the guides or the bars. Now see, when you do this, if you've got the EL wire mod, just double check you're not going to end up screwing into the EL wire. And then we've got 2 more IP screws in here, and just 2 more in here. So that's looking just like that. Now before we move on to the rest of this, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So just as we did before, We need to ensure that these bands are properly in their place. I have got this little spudger tool which is making it nice and easy to be able to maneuver these bands. So again, we're just going to place this one, and again they are labelled, so this one is R1 as you can see. So R1 is just going into those two holes again, followed by R2. Again, that's got that little nub that's going to go into that other hole, and ensuring that our bands or pipes are in the right place. We've got that just like that, and then we've got 108E that's going to come in here. And as before, we're going to start off with 2 AP screws just in here. And the reason I'm not going by the instructions, as you can see, that's popped out now, and we can't actually put that in there without that extra piece in there. So by screwing those 2 bits in first, it holds it all in place and makes it much easier for the IP screws to go in. So we've got our 108F piece, which is going to go in here. Ensuring our bands are in and following that nice little contour. Just like so. I'm going to put that one down. Put this one over the top. And again, 2 more AP screws will secure that in place. Just like that. And then we're going to finish off this bit with the IP screws. Again, just ensure that you're not going to go through your EL wire if you've got it. So that's now looking just like that. Obviously we're at the same stage on both sides now. So the E's I will just continue with the right hand side for the moment. And so the next piece is we've got R3. And again, just making sure these bands are sat in there correctly. I'm going to place those 2 together and place that in just like so. Now the instructions do say place this one on as well, but again I'm going to ignore the instructions and I'm going to place the metal work on first to make sure that's held in place. And we're going to use the part G for this next bit of framework. And that's going to sit just in there, and that will hold this piece in place, and then we can use the IP screws along here as well. Now I'm going to put that same piece on the other side. So this is L3. Again, just pushing those 2 bits together and then placing them in like that. And that's going to go in just like so. And again, AP screws, IP screws, IP screws. And nothing in this one for the minute, because we'll need that for the next part of the framework. Now we have that one in place, we're just going to use 107H. And we're going to be placing that in there, and then we're going to use the AP screws and the IP screws to hold that one in place. it should be noted actually that these, where the markings are, they are the face of this. So you can see that piece I've just put in there, it's the right size, right shape for that. If you had that the other way around, obviously it wouldn't fit as well. So it is worth just making sure that when you pull these out, that they are the face and the correct way up. So this one here, for instance, you've got a short end and a long end, and as you can see, that fits absolutely perfectly. It wouldn't have fit the other way around. Another AP screw going in here, and then we have the two IP screws. These two edges are just lots of AP and IP screws, and lots of repetition. So before we move on to the other one, flip it around again, and we're going to do the same as what we did on the other side. So we're going to use 108H, and we're going to be placing that one on there. Again, two AP screws. Ensuring that bands are in their little channels, just like so. And finishing off this section with two IP screws, as we did before. Right, so now for each side, we've only got one piece of fretwork to go and one piece of the metal framework. Now these are going to go in on just under here, and obviously we've got the last little bit of metal work as well, which is going to wrap right round and go underneath. So we will need to turn the car upside down to finish that little bit off. But first, what we're going to do is just ensure that those last two bands are in the right place. Some of these spudgers are brilliant for doing this. You can get these cheap off eBay, Amazon, something like that. Or if you purchase one of Mike Lane's carpet mods for any of your vehicles, I think he throws on one of these for you. I certainly had one when I did the Night Rider video with the carpets. So thank you, Mike, for that. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to change the camera moment to free cam. So with this very last piece, you can just about see we've got two holes in there, so that needs to go into two holes, and then that'll go in just like so. So we're now going to put the last little bit of metalwork just on here, and as I said before, with this being the face, this piece has a very slight curve to it, as you can see there. So we want to make sure that when we put it in, it goes on that way around with the face, and then it will match this curve precisely. So we're going to start off by just putting a couple of AP screws in it with that. Now, as you can tell, I'm probably avoiding flipping the car over anytime soon. So I'm going to try and do as much of this without flipping the car. And then we carry on round here with a couple of the IP screws to secure these two bits together. The bands are in the right place again. And really that's probably about as much as I can do on this side without flipping the car over. So we'll just turn it around, get to the same stage on this side. So just join the bands are in the right place, putting that into the block down there. Putting that bit together. In fact, it might be easier to put that bit together first and then do the block underneath. Right, so I've just put that lower half in. I haven't put it into the block under there that you can see. So I'm now going to place this one in as I did before with the AP screws and the IP screws. Now I've got the IP screws, and again it's probably worth putting something behind there that you can really push these in and ensure that those two pieces do marry up together. That's those two in. And again, we can probably just finish this bit off with the two AP screws here. Just like that. Now, I don't think I put those two in on this side, did I? No, I did. So now we need to flip it over, and also we need to position these into the right places now. So we get our good old Partwork Upgrades mat. I'm just going to use some tape the doors up. So hopefully they don't fly open. And another good tip, fold your ring mirrors in. Now this might be an easier thing to see on the top cam. Basically just going to be folding these around and finishing them off with just some IP screws. Just ensuring that they does sit into that little groove nicely. And we've got 4 IP screws on each side. And yes, I still need to cut this little bit of tail off the EL wire, but I can do that after the fact. Now that I know that these bands are in, and I'm happy with all the positioning of them, because at the minute I might, you can probably just see on this one, it's quite tight here, so I might bring these out, so that will pull this way a little bit. And again, same with this side, so it follows the contours as opposed to being right up tight against the car. Just need to tweak that one. And that is all there is to do in stages 107 and 108. So next time you see this car, you probably won't see these little tails anymore, because I will have those all tidied up, all wrapped around here, and it will look absolutely amazing. I do need to just put in the last couple of screws here, which I removed when I was doing the wire mod. I just haven't put them back in yet, so that's on my to-do list. While it's upside down, I will do that now. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please remember to give me a big thumbs up. If you want to see more how the Delorean progresses or anything else that goes on in the workshop, please do remember to hit that subscribe button and ding that bell. You'll then be notified when I release a new video. With the Delorean, there is the competition currently where you can win the Mike Lane railway base, so please do check that out. There'll be a link in the description below. Also, if you want to get this all the way from Pack 1, it's now available from Fan Home. So that link also in the description below. Until the next time, I'll see you around. Cheers!